of life, Krishna should be our charioteer. And Vyasa's Gita is a perfect Gita, where Krishna should be driving the chariot. And we should be enjoying the ride, allowing the God or the Paramatma to dictate where we should be going.
Nicely put.
Ultimately, it is our ego that has to be dropped. Until our ego exists, we are the charioteer. We taking the reins of chariot. This is the way I want. This is the way I want. Asmita is created. Ragas are created.
Yeah, you decide
Dveshas
what is respect and what is insult.
What's that?
So you know, like our ego decides this is a respect,
Exactly.
and this is a
Right.
insult.
As soon as the ego takes over, the Krishna is taking
Drop
the back
your
seat.
ego.
Right.
So our mechanism of life should be different. So message is clear. If the consciousness starts dictating your life is done. Then you really taking a backseat yourself as the ego and allow the consciousness to filter through you. And that's where the beauty of the life, the dance of the life happens. So and that's when most of the sadhus or swamis, they are called swamis only because they have allowed the consciousness to let dictate their life rather than, so they have become swamis of the senses. They have risen themselves above the senses. They have stopped listening to the senses, and they are not the slaves of the senses anymore. They have become the masters of the senses. So everything changes. This is the only way to live the life, and not just to live the life. This is the whole life becomes consciousness, and that's how. And once that happens, all of a sudden everything changes. All the sufferings of the life disappears. The events do not disappear, but your interpretation of that event as unpleasant disappears. Everything becomes pleasant. Your view of the life changes. All of a sudden those thorns becomes roses. Everything becomes a gift of Paramatma. Even if negative things happening becomes a gift from Paramatma. And you start seeing something positive about it. So, eyes which used to run after the objects of pleasure, now it starts seeing Nirakar everywhere. Your eyes were used to seeing the shapes, the forms, and the sizes of the material things. Now it's looking for infinite existence everywhere. You going beyond the material life. And so far your ears were listening to only the words. Now it starts listening Nishabd. Nishabd, which was present before the words were created. And Nishabd is something that's going to exist even after the words are gone. Nishabd is silence. The silence was always there before the words were given. But so far, your ears were used to listening only to the words. But the same capacity, same senses, you revert into the higher level and listen to the music of silence. The silence you can listen, silence you can taste, silence you can see, silence you can appreciate the beauty of it. And the silence becomes everything. You become the silence. So, your own senses so far were eager to take you into the world for their promising the world and full of pleasures and enjoyment. Now you are dictating them to enjoy the beauty, the sound, taste and smell of Paramatma. And that ultimately, those are the senses which become helpful to you. So, senses do not take you in the wrong directions. Horses do not take you in the wrong direction. We are the one who are unconscious. We are the one who are drunk. And we are the one who do not control our life. And we have let it happen that way. We meaning the self, the consciousness is slipping. And when it slips, horses take over. Horses ride everywhere else. So we blame the senses. We think, and our sannyasis have been saying, our religious leaders are saying that, oh, the body is bad. You have acquired the body because you must have done some sins in the past. And like women are entrance to the gates of hell, and all those crazy nonsense things have been told us. Body is beautiful. Body has beautiful senses. We have to understand the beauty of it. And when we understand the beauty of it, we can utilize for our own advantage to rise ourselves at the higher level. So responsibility is yours. So selecting the mind to control your life was your mistake. And we have to redirect it to rise it to the higher level. Your consciousness was sleeping, and that's why your mind took you in the wrong direction. So this is the dharma. Make your consciousness, the awareness, as the master, and let it control your life, and let your mind and the body be the slaves. So that's where, how long we're gonna keep doing it, that's the question. Because we've been doing this for life after life after life. I don't know how many births you and I have taken. We've been taken with in a hypnotic state that we're gonna get something out of this life. The life ends without getting anything. Then we are born again with the same desire to be born again, to acquire something again. So as if this caravan, karma, is going, and we are running after it, as if we're going to get something. And all the dust that is coming out of the karma, we are inhaling it. We are never able to lead the caravan. We are at the end of the caravan, thinking the caravan, meaning the whole passage of all these people that's going, is going to give us something. So there is a beautiful shairi, Osho said that, Isi raftare आवारा से भटकेगा यहाँ कब तक? इसी रफ्तारे आवारा से भटकेगा यहाँ कब तक? How long are you gonna keep on wandering? अमीरे कारवा बन जा, गुबारे कारवा कब तक? So become karma itself. Lead the caravan. You become the leader.
Amir
कारवा. कब तक? गुबारे कारवा कब तक? Gubare means you are feeling the dust coming from. So you are just inhaling all the dust. And you are not leading the karma. You are following the karma as if you're trying to fit into the crowd. And whatever everybody else is doing, you're just doing it. Thinking that this is somewhere along the line, this caravan is going to reach somewhere. Open up your eyes. Awake yourself. And that awareness can come only through meditation. Only when you realize that there is some other existence other than all these things, that's when you can start realizing that your life is starting to rise. That's when you have a spiritual confidence. That's when you have the spiritual existence and you realize that there is something happening. And that something that is happening is giving you the confidence. For the first time you have the sound footing and you know exactly where you are. And whatever else you're seeing is fake, false, and it's not going to take you anywhere. So become a leader, not a follower. Become Krishna, not Arjuna. They are not two separate existences. Arjuna and Krishna are not two separate things. It's only you, which way you behave. The way you behave, the way Arjuna was behaving, you are Arjuna. But you can become Krishna by changing your organization of your life. If the consciousness dictates your life, you are Krishna. If matter dictates your life, you are Arjuna. So become a leader. And
very nice. Yeah.
So the chariot is the same. The life that we're living in is the same chariot. Who is riding, who is driving, is all that matters. So there is no need to quit. This is the battleground. And this is where you're going to decide and define your path, that which way you're going, which way you're taking your chariot. Escaping from this is not going to take you anywhere. Everything has stayed the same. Buddha had the same equipment that you and I have. He did not have extra eyes. He did not have extra pair of legs or extra arms or two brains, nothing like that. He had the same equipment that you and I, all of us have it. He just rearranged, reshuffled in a proper way. That's all. And that's all we have to do. and it's not that difficult either. So his Gita was correct. Once the organization happens, Buddhatva starts. Your whole life becomes Buddhist. Buddhatva. It's dictated by the awareness, dictated by your consciousness, and your every angle of your life becomes spiritual. And the same life that used to lure you into different sense objects, all of a sudden you are aware of the futility of these objects of pleasures. पहले शराब जिस्त थी, अब जिस्त है शराब. जिस्त यानी जिंदगी. पहले शराब जिस्त थी. Sharab was life.
Right.
Like this guy last night.
Right.
पहले शराब जिस्त थी, अब जिस्त है शराब. Jindagi itself becomes sharab. Because now you are imbibing yourself in the glory of the divinity of the consciousness. And it's for real. It's there. You experience time to time. I'm sure whenever we meditate, you experience going to the deeper layers of samadhi. Just the divinity takes you over. And you bathe constantly, again and again and again. कोई पिला रहा है, मैं पिए जा रहा हूँ. You don't exist even at that point. Somebody, some unknown entity is just throwing you buckets and buckets of pleasure, and you're continuously being bathed in it. Compared to that, what is a glass of wine? What is a glass of black label? What is nothing? All those material pleasures don't mean nothing. But you don't realize until it happens to you. And once that happens, all these material pleasures seem like nothing. So, पहले शराब जिस्त थी, अब जिस्त है शराब. So life becomes the giver. The life that exists all around is showering its bliss, its grace, divinity, and it's throwing in buckets and buckets to everyone. All the flowers are getting it, all the earthworms are getting it, all the dragonflies are getting it, you are getting it, I am getting it. The air, the beautiful colors of the leaves and the smiling children, everybody is getting that grace. It's a continuous source of divinity coming in. We just have to focus our attention to it. And once we realize, when we start bathing in it, it is so immense and it's so infinite that all the other pleasures don't seem nothing. So, when the Arjun drives the chariot, Krishna is sitting in the chariot, ego is running your life. And when Krishna drives the chariot and Arjun sits in the chariot, the egoless state is prevailing. So the whole Gita basically ultimately boils down to one thing: become egoless. Drop your ego. You are nothing. You, as you know, and you've been fighting all these battles, the ego made you run around like crazy, made you fight your battles, made you fight with your brothers, made you fight with your friends. Everything, all those were useless. It's like one bad seed spreads into a big jungle. Scientifically, they say one seed is capable of covering the whole earth, given the proper conditions, with vegetation. The same tree can grow all over. So, the seed of ignorance that we think we are, the ego, the asmita, is the first sin. And from first sin, all the world full of sins has arisen. So our mistake was right at the beginning. And from that, we all are going after another, as if we all are going in the right direction. But our first mistake was Agnan. Agnan was that. Gnan was that we are nothing. Consciousness is everything. That's how it always was, it always is, and it always will be. Egos have come and gone. Egos have fought battles. Egos have, won a lot of empires, and egos have gone. Egos have built empires, and those empires have been crushed. Egos have fought wars and killed a lot of people and won a lot of battles and lost a lot of battles and committed suicide. All these are plays of egos. and all that ego has done nothing, has not. And yet, the transcend to that, the consciousness has always been there, and it always will be there. So this is the Sanatan Dharma, as Dhammo Sanantano. So Buddha's statements, however, is a lot of times misinterpreted by the lot of people. Because people are people. If a very fragrant thing has been offered, it goes to the people's nostrils and comes out as foul smell. People interpret the divine statements with their own limited ways of thinking, because they themselves have not reached that state. So they cannot understand what these high souls are saying. So a lot of misinterpretations have happened. So the mind has been described as unsteady. The mind is crooked. Mind is bent up like a bent up arrow. The straight arrow will reach to its destination very easily. But if the arrow is bent up, it cannot reach there. So mind has been equated with a lot of those things, which is fine. But instead of trying to crush the mind, we just have to learn how to observe the mind. So that's the interpretation that has been, and wrong teachings have been transcended for generations and generations. And all these teachings have been that you do this and you do this, and don't steal and don't lie and don't do this and don't do that, and all these things are our vrittis and vasanas have been considered pretty bad, and we have to crush them and we have to control it, and all those things have been the wrong interpretations of Buddha's teachings. All Buddha has said that this is the nature of the mind. Just observe it and understand it. That's all. You don't have to do anything to make it better. He never said that make your mind behave properly. Never spend efforts to make your mind behave in such and such a way. He never gave any updesh that you have to do this and you have to do this. All your improved lifestyle will follow once you understand the mind. Once you realize the intricacy of the mind, once you realize the delicateness of the mind, subtleness of the mind, and unsteadiness of the mind, all of a sudden you will realize that if mind is unsteady, whoever is observing the mind is the steady. If I'm standing here and you run past me, I know that you ran past me. But if we both of us are going at the same speed, you cannot tell whether we're running or not. So ultimately, your existence to the permanence happens as a part of meditation. You don't have to look for something permanent, because the moment Buddha said that mind is impermanent, mind is unsteady, people say that, oh, I'm going to try to look for something that is permanent, something that is shashvat. So then journey starts. Journeys have been, we are so used to running the journeys. We always used to create a goal and keep running after it. That's what mind has done for thousands and thousands of years. And there is one more journey. Now the only difference is the goal has become very superfined, instead of the inferior goals that you are running after money and running after whatever, positions or whatever. So running after those objects stops, but then your running starts looking for something permanent, something infinite, looking for God. People go to Himalayan mountains and then do this and do that and all those things. But what difference does it make? When the mind becomes quiet, that's when the consciousness happens. Because it's always there. It was never lost. The consciousness, your permanent state of mind was always there. The bliss state, the steadiness was always there. When you look at the whole world with the steady mind, everything is steady. When you look at the whole world with the unsteady mind, then your likes and dislikes and all those things surface, and the mind and the whole society looks unsteady to you. So it is the steadiness of the mind that is important. And to steady the mind, you just have to observe the mind. You have to learn how to watch the mind. And that's why we say the meditation is called mindfulness. You become aware of your mind. That's it. That's the state of non-doing. You don't have to do anything. You have done enough. You've been doing it for thousands of years. Now for change, relax. Sit down and don't do anything. And that's the toughest part actually for most of the people.
Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride, right?
Enjoy the ride.
Sit back and relax. Enjoy the ride.
Only it's the toughest part because you